Welcome everyone to the Secret Mental Techniques Club Volume 3. Welcome also to Dr. Berner de la Garza once again. Doctor, as we have previously established in the club, a primary goal of ours is to investigate the most significant phenomena contributing to humanity's evolutionary progress. As a complement to Darwin's theories, which identified sex as the primary executive engine driving species evolution, for the human race there was an additional trigger that enabled us to evolve millions of times more rapidly than all other living creatures.
This is a very important point, but before that, I want to comment on something, Carla. The secret mental techniques represent an educational system that strictly adheres to a specific guided sequence. The club, we are already observing the issues that humanity faces from all races and from every country. Here we are attempting to foster a collective global consciousness. Wouldn't you agree? And to accomplish that, we really must start from the very bottom. Now, how exactly do we go about that? As inhabitants of this planet, which we share with so many other species, how exactly did we come to evolve so much more rapidly and impressively than other species? How did this happen, and what's the reason behind it? Why do you think that is the case? Because if we understand our origins, we'll grasp our present location. And that will be the starting point from which we can understand our future direction.
How interesting, Doctor, what you're saying. This delving deeper into understanding our origins helps us to discover these additional triggers, these catalysts,
Exactly. And if we can put it to use once again, I feel we're very near to identifying that additional trigger in every one of its facets, allowing us to leverage it once more and make another quantum evolutionary leap.
Right, Doctor, I agree. Doctor, the evidence of this tremendous acceleration is truly all around us. While human beings are already exploring the vastness of outer space, the rest of the species are still millions of years from attaining a comparable capacity for locomotion or significant technological advancement. This specific trigger point completely transformed the evolutionary engine into an authentic, powerful turbine, which generated an exponential impulse. One important question is this: how did this transformation really occur? What are your thoughts on this, Doctor?
Well, we have spent decades studying this particular question, and what we have discovered is truly spectacular. The difficult part here is to condense it into a program, isn't it? We are so limited in space. This topic alone is truly something that could be talked about for hours and hours, right? But this is a significant event that completely separated us from other species.
How interesting it is to discover this additional trigger, and that we can continue utilizing it as a tool for exploration, helping us to further our development much more significantly.
Of course.
It is undeniable, Doctor, that the sexual act has undoubtedly propelled significant advancements in our evolution. For instance, it has driven us to refine our professional abilities, making us more appealing as companions. to really take care of our hygiene, to improve our physical appearance, and also to develop countless abilities that are deeply related to attraction and living together in harmony.
Yes, Carla, and there is one very important thing we found in this particular study, and that is that the evolutionary turbine, which completely separated us from other species, also provided substantial assistance concerning sexual matters. It significantly increased. You can observe it in other species. Some animals evolve to be more graceful than others. They become more ferocious, more adept at securing a mate, correct? But among humans, we have definitely gone much further than that.
However, Doctor, if we consider it in terms of actual time spent, humans only enjoy sexual activity for an average of merely 10,000 seconds per month, which amounts to less than 0.5% of the total monthly duration? Yes. Additionally, we spend over 1 million seconds each month contemplating matters of a sexual nature. While some of these thoughts can indeed be productive, the overwhelming majority tend to be counterproductive to our personal and collective development. This is quite an interesting point, isn't it?
Yes, definitely. Because despite the fact that sex helps us to evolve tremendously, contemplating sex can actually be counterproductive. Why is that? Because it takes us away from our professional work, it distracts us, it promotes the use of the subconscious mind instead of the use of the conscious mind, etc., etc., etc.
Yes, it is a series of side effects to simply concentrate our energy solely on sexual topics, isn't it?
Exactly. I truly believe, Doctor, that we humans rise each day driven by 4 fundamental things: by love, by power, by sex, and by sheer survival. You are absolutely right. But that's exactly where we're headed right now. We are about to discover the 5th reason, which is the most significant of all.
Excellent. I'm eager to uncover this 5th and most significant reason.
Shall we continue?
Continue. As we discussed, Doctor, from this perspective, we can confidently assert that the real evolutionary catalyst for our species was, in fact, music. Unlike sexual encounters, music can truly be enjoyed for millions of seconds every single month. Not only does it encourage sexual activity from a more harmonious perspective, but it also helps to diminish the presence of fragmented and unproductive sexual thoughts.
Carla, I truly believe this discovery is quite sensational, don't you agree? Because we have thoroughly studied it from every angle. We aren't just venturing to make this scientific determination. The evidence is all around us, very plentiful and visible everywhere. Music exists in every country and across all races, displaying diverse variations. And it's really beautiful because it's different everywhere. But these are our evolutionary engines. And it all began with a small monkey who, with a stick, struck a hollow, fallen log and began to appreciate the sound that was produced. Started to produce music and started to appreciate music. And from that point, we began to evolve very quickly, very rapidly. And it was something we could engage in for millions of seconds every month. In other words, almost constantly. They would go out on hunts, and they'd bring back the game, and the celebration was filled with music and dancing, sometimes lasting for weeks on end.
Yes, that's right, Doctor. It's amazing how one sound linked to another sound, and generated this whole musical repertoire that we now enjoy, that we go to concerts for, and all the ways in which music, sometimes without us realizing it and without being conscious of it, is impacting us in millions of ways.
I remember back in my day, in the 60s, the musical creativity was incredible. That's when we started to truly recognize our evolutionary turbine. And I remember that, well, not all of us young people spoke English. Back then, globalization hadn't started, right? And we would listen to a song by the Beatles, wouldn't we? Right. And you'd ask someone what it was about, and everyone had a different idea, of course. And later, when I started going to the United States and all, I would laugh, at my friends' interpretations. I started conversing with my American friends at summer camps around the ages of 12 or 13, and the exact same thing happened when speaking in English. They themselves couldn't give it the same interpretation. Each person interpreted it differently based on their relationships with their friends and their romantic affairs and so on.
Everyone interpreted it in their own way, right? An emotional interpretation of this musical vibration.
And there you would witness the blossoming of imagination and creativity, wouldn't you?
Yes, Doctor, music awakened our temporal sensibilities.
Thousands of things, thousands of our abilities.
It fostered the development of the arts.
Of all the arts.
Well, stemming from it, from music, artistic forms of expression emerged, as we discussed, simultaneously boosting our capacities for generating and maintaining rhythms, like how it could truly help us gain greater mastery and control over our emotions.
Yes.
And to awaken other unexplored sensibilities.
That's where we're headed. In the secret mental techniques, we're going to deal with emotions, right? Because emotions are the fourth mind. It's the new mind coming to humans. It's the next evolutionary step. And music is precisely what initiated the discussion about emotions, isn't it? And that is a remarkably strong catalyst for our emotions.
That's right, Doctor. How interesting to be exploring this part. How music, how this wonderful trigger for evolution.
We're not going to finish this, Carla. These topics could easily fill 30 or 40 shows.
We have to do them, Doctor. Doctor, this process has reached such a profound depth that to vividly illustrate it from a more personal and experiential standpoint, I will share how my generation, along with the musicians from the 60s and 70s, generated truly memorable works such as Hotel California. Like many songs from that era, this piece is profoundly laden with messages and wisdom, and it holds a very important and particularly significant meaning for me.
Well, you see, when I was at NASA during my time there, my very first year of university studies, the people from, I was given an exercise to do. They told me, Tony, if you were to die tomorrow and stand before God, what would you say to him? God will question you, what actions did you take? What did your species accomplish? What have you all achieved? And it took me several months to complete. And after a few months, they called me and said, what did you figure out? And I thought to myself, right? Listen, we haven't surpassed creation at all.
Yugi?
Sculpture, well, the mountains are still more beautiful, and there are some landscapes, right? And so I delved into all the arts, the technological aspects, and everything else until I finally arrived at music. And there I told them, that we surpassed creation. Music is It's what the human species has managed to overcome in terms of creation. The sounds that we have managed to produce are more beautiful than the sounds that nature produces. And what if we started to combine those sounds, just like we did before with actual poetry? Wouldn't that be something? With truly incredible messages? It is without a doubt an immense accomplishment for humankind. Now let's go back to the 1950s, 60s, and 70s when this whole musical explosion just simply took place. Because of electricity, right? Because they arrived. Technology, that's where technology actually started to combine with music, and then the explosion of electric music was created, correct?
This is wonderful, this exponential growth of...
And I lived it in the universities, in the academic world, at MIT, Georgia Tech, Harvard, Washington. It was an explosion in all areas. We were hippies, managing computers and sending people to the moon. NASA was everywhere. We were all just hippies.
Yes, a time when many things emerged, many changes,
A spectacular quantum leap.
Totally, like rock and roll of that era.
Produced by produced by music.
Exactly. It demanded intense collaboration, something that is very difficult to sustain for long periods. And yet, artists, we knew that extended periods of solitude were also required, something we symbolically link to the desert. How intriguing, wouldn't you agree? Because of how we got to the point of the desert with solitude.
Yes, because, at NASA, we were 300 or 200 or 300 engineers, right? And divided into teams, right? But forming teams. And the work, well, look at the Beatles. What's truly amazing are the Rolling Stones, who are still going strong after 5 decades. But that's definitely the exception. The general rule was that everyone else would squabble, and they just couldn't achieve that sense of team unity.
And ever since the Renaissance, profound thinkers like Machiavelli steadfastly asserted that genuine self-knowledge, doctor, typically came about and was truly attained when one found themselves completely immersed in solitude.
Yes. Sting left the police and forget about it. He achieved wonderful things. Everyone says if he had stayed with the police, he would have achieved things. Yes, but in this particular case, he was even much greater. Team collaboration is something phenomenal, but the internal individual aspect is where? Wolfgang Pauli, one of the most brilliant quantum physicists, the one who invented the mathematics of quantum physics, Wolfgang Pauli used to say that we were making a huge mistake, and he conveyed this to Oppenheimer. He stated, "The work needed is internal, not external. It's not about weapons or bombs. It is ourselves. The true power of the atom, the true power is found right within each and every one of us."
Sure.
So then, we're going to dive deep into Hotel California. Because you see, that's truly a complete work of art. Wouldn't you agree? We would need, once again, approximately 100 programs to truly finish studying it, but we can certainly begin with something.
Let's begin to break it down piece by piece, so that we can also come to a much deeper understanding of all the power that stands behind the music.
Exactly.
As we discussed, Doctor, the song Hotel California starts with a scene set in the desert, depicting the protagonist engaged in smoking marijuana. A practice that, in that specific setting, functioned effectively as a means of self-study. Subsequently, he narrates how he becomes utterly mesmerized by a glistening object, which then draws him into a world that proves to be both superficial and utterly decadent. Later on, his guide leads him to a grand party, and there he comes to understand that every individual is a captive of their own inner struggles or inner beasts. Furthermore, it becomes apparent that it's a prerequisite for them to always possess justifications for their conduct. Destructive or their own inner beast, Doctor?
Yes, Carla. Here within the realm of the secret mental techniques, we're going to dive into the entire topic of inner beasts in numerous episodes, because these are issues that we have allowed to escalate alongside our rapid evolution, haven't they? It's certainly nothing that we cannot overcome, is it? We have accomplished miracles, but it is indeed something very huge and extremely dangerous. That's the desert's concern, isn't it? Why? Because when we get together with certain people, our beasts start to coexist with their beasts, and it becomes something very powerful, and that's where they convince us, right, to fall into more destructive habits. The whole conflict regarding inner beasts is like an encyclopedia, isn't it? Yes, we really need to examine it, and we absolutely must resolve it. But it's beautiful, isn't it? The way Hotel California puts it, right? This is absolutely gorgeous. Previously, Wagner had already dealt with that matter, hadn't he? The opera of Parzival and also The Alchemists, am I right?
This particular song, Doctor, practically demonstrates a profound lack of development and diligent effort on the part of our conscious mind.
Of course.
That leads us to become prey to these inner beasts.
It's the holy grail of the, you know what I mean? It is truly the holy grail, and it's what we absolutely must pursue. If I were the president of some country, I would put advertisements all over the place asking, "Are you conscious?" Reminding people to remain conscious, to continually develop their conscious mind. That serves as the best antidote against those beasts.
Totally, Doctor. The power to stop them and that we can develop in much more productive areas, right? Like the song.
Of course, we are self-sabotaging. And we're going to start. It's incredible. It's truly incredible. If we go back to the analogy we always use, it's as if we possess a Ferrari, correct? And we pull it out, put it into first gear, and then we drive off in first. And there we go, like absolute madmen, right? That's just how we humans are. We have some. Jesus told the apostles and everyone, every single day, that we possess these incredible capabilities, and 2,000 years later, we still haven't figured out how to begin.
How to enhance that power, right? Exactly. Also, Doctor, in the song, it mentions that during the festivities, it becomes clear that these inner forces, these untamed beasts, are growing without restraint. Even with their most strenuous efforts to repress them, even to the point of trying to kill them, their expansion was completely unstoppable. It is at that precise moment when the protagonist understands that he has chosen the wrong path, and that when he wishes to return to the desert, that is to say, to authenticity and self-study, he discovers that the uncontrolled growth of his own inner beasts and the connections forged with the other beasts of other individuals no longer permitted them to go back.
Yes, there is I have been everywhere. I am 70 years old, right, Carla? And it's the clear distinction you find between attending a social gathering in Los Angeles and conversely, a party, an academic in Boston. Of the professors from Harvard and MIT and all of them. That's the big difference. Those are the two extremes, right? How a party in Los Angeles concludes and how, at an academic gathering in Boston, truly marvelous insights can be gained, wouldn't you agree?
How interesting, huh? They are two different worlds.
Different.
But in this academic world, well, very productive things come out for our development, and on the other side, well, destruction.
Another thing we're going to look at in depth later on is the damage that Hollywood has also done to humanity. It has. That is, I really have to deal with this immediately, Carla. The next thing, the evolutionary advancement of music is cinematography. It is truly a wonderful phenomenon. It came to potentiate music to incredible degrees. Yes, yes. Before, it was a turbine. Now it's a 6-turbine jet.
There's a reason it's called the seventh art.
Exactly. And this came to potentiate everything even more, which we'll discuss in detail later on. However, it has also brought forth quite significant and severe issues for humankind. But we will delve into that later. But it has it's more about the considerable benefits.
Very well, Doctor. So we will continue in our next program with the topic of cinematography.
We're out of time again, Carla.
We've run out of time again. These are indeed endless yet wonderful topics that can help us further our evolution as individuals. We'll see you in our next program, and don't forget to sign up for the Secret Mental Techniques Club by sending us an email at lasttechnicastechnicasecretasegmail.com. It's completely free, and we can continue discussing these topics, getting to know each other, and offering mutual support, Doctor. We'll see you on the next program. Thank you very much.